in unincorporated business, and whatever the profit we gain are normally distributed amongst the owners. So a quick overview of a sole trader. They have got the 100% share of the profit. A single person who is managing a business is known as a sole trader. Two and more than two people in a partnership can manage the business. Two and more than two people, they can be two, and in most of the books it is written up to 20. So you can use a word 2 to 20, but normally I used to say to the IGCSE level student, don't give the upper limit, because this is different as per the laws of the countries. So in England, in Pakistan, in USA, it is up to 20, but in some other countries, in African countries, it may be 18, and in some countries maybe 28 to 30. So we are not going to give the upper limit. We say two or more than two people doing an unincorporated type of business is known as partnership. And more capital than the sole tradership, obviously the properties of the partnership was we have got more capital than the sole trader, because more than two people are joining their hands. We have got less capital than incorporated, but the capital is going to be lesser than the incorporated business. So starting from first scale, sole trader is the smallest business organization normally. Partnership is small and medium scale type of business sector. Then after partnership, we have got the private limited companies, which comes under third level, which can be termed as a medium scale or a higher medium scale companies. And then we have got the public limited companies, and these are the largest scale companies in any country. So the examples of private limited companies are, I have shared you the example of MCB Bank. I have shared you the example of Al-Falah Bank. So these are the examples of private limited companies. In cellular, you have got Zong. It is a private limited company. It is not owned by government in Pakistan. Public limited companies are basically those companies which are whose shares are normally floated in the stock exchange, and if their shares are floated in the stock exchange, they are known as public limited companies. Previously, I discussed about the difference between the public limited companies and public sector companies. There is a difference. So a public sector company are those companies which are owned by the government, but public limited companies are not necessarily owned by the government. They are those companies whose shares are floated in the stock exchange. So simply saying, while defining public limited company, you will say that shares of such companies are floated in stock exchange. Got it? So this is going to be the definition for that while we're defining the thing. But if you are defining the public sector companies, the public sector companies means the companies which are owned by the government, and their shares may not be necessarily shared or floated in the stock exchange. Okay, beta, I'll share the notes as well, and it's not an issue. Okay, so last day I have shared a worksheet with all of you, which was related to the same lesson which we have gone through. So the worksheet states, the first question in the worksheet was define unlimited liability. So how would you define unlimited liability? Can you give me answer in like 4 or 5 words? You can use the chat box for that. Yes, Ahmed, you want to ask something? Okay, shareholders. Define unlimited liability. So what the question was, unlimited liability. So what is unlimited liability? Exactly. If you say unlimited liability, that means it is the risk which are not limited to the amount invested. The word you have used is only limited to amount invested. This is the definition of limited liability. So I have asked the definition of unlimited liability, so that the risks which are not limited to the amount of investment, but you may have to sell your personal belongings in order to pay back the debt. I repeat, unlimited liability is not limited to the amount of investment, but you may have to sell your personal assets or belongings in order to pay back the debt of the business. That's the unlimited liability. And opposite to that unlimited liability is the question which states define limited liability. Exactly. I know, Ahmed, you were talking about limited liability. So, okay. So limited liability is just the opposite of that, that when the risks are limited to the amount invested in the business. So we use the word risks in limited to the amount invested into the business, and in brackets, you may use the word capital. So all of the capital that is invested in the business after selling off the assets of the businesses, you are not going to sell your personal belongings in order to pay back the debt. That is a limited liability. It is limited to the organization. By limited, we means limited to the amount of investment made into the business. So we don't need to sell our personal belongings in this case. That's why I asked two opposite questions. So unlimited and limited liability. In unlimited, we say you have to sell your personal belongings, and in limited liability, we normally say you don't have to sell that. Business owners will be held responsible for the amount invested only. Yes, that's right. That business owners will be held responsible for the amount of investment or whatever they have invested in the business or whatever assets the business has bought. Okay. By saying it is a limited liability, normally there is a word which is derived as separate legal entity. And I use the both words, limited liability and separate legal identity, both under incorporated business or unincorporated business. What do you think? Limited liability and separate legal entities are features of unincorporated business or incorporated business? Incorporated business. Very well said. So a separate legal entity in incorporated businesses, the businesses have a separate right than the owners. The businesses have the separate legal rights and obligations than the owners. So that means that owners are separate from the business. So it is one of the easiest definitions of separate legal identity we used to say is that owners are separate from the business, and business have got the separate identity than the owners. So companies are having the, Ahmed, yes, you are right that companies are having the separate legal identities, but we normally say unincorporated, or sorry, we use incorporated business. Which word are we going to use? Incorporated business have got separate legal identity, and unincorporated business is sole trader as well as partnership. Both are known as unincorporated business. I hope it is clear to you now. Okay, moving on to the sole trader. So sole trader is an unincorporated type of business. So your answer is going to start with an unincorporated business having a single owner. And so let us define sole trader over there so that it's clear to all of you. So what is going to be the definition of sole trader? Who is a sole trader? So you can say it is unincorporated business having a single owner, So if you are defining like this, that means you have given two keywords over there. One keyword is the single owner. Second keyword is the unincorporated business. And by giving just two keywords, you are gaining 2 marks for that. If you want to expand this answer, you can say, I could also say that if you don't want to use the word of unincorporated, you can say a single owner having limited liability can be the definition of. So over here, you are using two keywords. The first keyword is single owner and second is going to be the limited liability. In both cases, you are gaining full marks for that. So this is going to be the answer for a sole trader. Define partnership. So how would you define partnership? Can anyone give me the answer in like two keywords? I just need the two keywords. Yes, your answer is two people working together. Okay, so your answer is two people working together. Okay, second answer is a business run by two people. It's the same thing. Fine. Two or more people agree to jointly own a business. Fine. Unincorporated basis with two or more than two people. Mohammed Shahir is getting intelligent day by day. Unincorporated business with two or more than owners. So, okay, under a partnership agreement, yes, you are recovering your answer now. That working together and under a partnership agreement. Let's suppose you haven't used these words under a partnership agreement. Then how much points you are going to get? Two people working together. How many keywords are there? Two people. That's it. So this is one keyword. If you say two people working together under a partnership agreement, that may be accepted. The partnership agreement, this section could have carried 1 mark as well. So if you used this sentence along with this, you may have 2 marks in full. But the better answer is an unincorporated business with two or more owners. Or you could have said a business having two or more owners with unlimited liability. So there are two keywords now, unlimited liabilities and two and more owners. This way you may have easily got 2 marks. And then you could have also said two or more owners with any other with shared responsibilities. So a shared responsibilities is going to be another keyword for you. You may use this as well. So I have given you multiple options, but if you are using just one word, that two or more than two people joining their hands, so joining hand is not a keyword. Or you may say that two or more than two people agree to jointly own a business. To join the business is not going to be two keywords. It's just one keyword. The two or more than two people are joining basically. This is giving one sentence. I hope this is clear now. So in order to gain 2 marks, you have to give two keywords, and I have given you multiple examples of. So these might be the keywords which can be accepted by the examiner. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which is define joint stock companies. How would you define joint stock companies? By the way, joint stock companies, or you can say companies. So joint stock company is an alternate name of the companies. So how would you define joint stock companies? So the question, Ahmed, over there is define joint stock companies and give me two keywords. Anyone want to explain joint stock companies? So that's the definition given to you by Google. Just not the definition. Let me make this answer What do you define public limited companies? The public limited shares are floated in stock exchange. The third keyword could have been free particular time. In the public limited company, you can buy and sell shares in it, but in the private limited company, you don't have that option. Point. Keyword could have been shares are floated in the stock exchange, and then you could have businesses. Can you define that? The first, before giving the key companies. So while defining incorporated businesses, we learned under the incorporated businesses, we have got two types of businesses over there. Limited liability, the shareholders in incorporated business, and you could have used the term any group of people or group of shareholders having more than 50% of the shares are known as the owner of that business. So the keywords are going to be, you could have used limited liability. You can say that business with limited liability. So this is going to be a 1 mark for that. This is the first keyword. So then after that, business with limited liability, you could have said that the incorporated business are having shareholders with them. So this is going to be your second point, which carries 1 mark as well. Got it? So am I audible to all of you, beta? Or is there any issue? Ahmed, am I audible to you? Shahir, am I audible to you? Okay, good. So second is, the next question was define stock market. So Ahmed, would you like to define stock market? Give me just 2 words for that. What is stock market? Do you have any understanding of the stock market? Today it was in the news as well. What is stock market? Yes, you are very right. So stock market is a place. What is stock market? So stock market, we can define a stock market as a place where shares are bought and sold for the public limited companies. So over here we have used two words, two keywords, a place where shares are bought and sold. That's the first part. And second one is for the public limited companies. By saying that for the public limited companies, we mean that the shares are floated for the public limited companies only. It is not floated for the private limited companies. So we have to use two keywords. In order to extend that and use the two keywords, we use the word public limited companies as well. So definition is going to be a place where shares are bought and sold for the public limited companies. You can also say a place where shares are bought and sold by public limited companies. Both are correct. Okay, moving on to the second word, define flotation. We'll discuss that later because that wasn't covered earlier. Franchise, that's the second part which wasn't covered. I said that two questions won't be attempted by you, but rest of the thing can be. And last one is define public corporation. What is public corporation? Anyone wants to give the definition of public corporation? Exactly, Ahmad, you are very right that the company which is owned by the government. So I deliberately use this question. So remember this question. The one is define public corporation, and previously the question was defining about the public limited company. I deliberately didn't use the exact word for the public limited companies, but while using the definition of public corporation, you must have to differentiate between the public limited companies and public corporation. So what is the definition of public corporation? So simply stating, a public corporation is any businesses owned by government. No, the problem is there is just one keyword over there, owned by government, and you have to use two keywords. What would be the second keyword for that? So the difference between the public corporation and other businesses is normally that the public corporation, any corporation that is owned by government, have with a primary focus, with a focus on providing services to public. So with a focus on providing services to public. By providing services to public means, so the major objective for this type of business or public corporation is to provide the service to the public. And by saying providing service to the public is, it is opposite to profit and motive. We can't say that the motive of these type of organization is to earn the profit. We're not going to say that there is no motive of earning the profit. The public corporation do earn the profit as well, but their major focus is on providing the benefit to the public, yes, and providing services to the public. So by saying this, we have used two keywords over there. The first is owned by government and second one is providing services to the public. By this way, we can have 2 full marks for that. If you have attempted that perfectly, that's fine. Else, we'll discuss that later on as well. Okay, the second activity was related to a case study, and in this case study, there are some background information is given regarding the things. And the first question was, from the article, identify and list main features, advantages and disadvantages of a sole trader business. So actually the question was related to give features of a sole trader. How many marks for this question? 6. That means 2 marks for the features, 2 for the advantages, and 2 for the disadvantages. So any 2 feature of the sole trader that is mentioned in this case study. So whenever there is a case study given in the question, you have to keep yourself limited to the case study. You cannot give your own answer. So let us find the features which are available given over there. So the case study states that the customers of Bite Size, the new sandwich and coffee bar in the town, can look forward to good food and personal friendly service according to the owner, Sabrina Rahman. So here is the word to an owner. So there is just one owner of the business. That means the first feature is going to be of a sole trader is single owner. So the answer is going to be, you are going to say that first feature, you will give an heading of features. And for the first feature, you will say that Sabrina, single owner. So this is first identification from your side that Sabrina, who is the single owner of the business, and it's the definition and the feature of the sole trader. She was busy preparing fresh sandwiches, snacks, and lots of delicious pastries for local shoppers and office workers when we popped in to sample her menu. We asked her why she had decided to open her own business. I enjoy cooking, but had been unemployed for some time, Sabrina explained. So, is there any feature of a sole trader over there? Any unemployed, any single person who is a single owner can start her own business. Okay, so she enjoyed cooking and that's why she was doing that thing. By running my own business, I am assured a job, but I get to be my own boss and help all the profits I make. So there are 2 other features given for the sole trader. Plus, she's giving you the advantages of that as well. The advantages of the sole trader is be your own boss and keep all the profits. So you can say, we'll leave the feature part for a minute. We say the advantages are, in the paper you can do like this. The advantages are, first advantage, be your own boss, like Sabrina did, and have all profits in your pocket. This is going to be your second advantage, which was given in this part as well. And then talking about the moving on to the next part. No, that I have made any yet. Not that I have made any yet, she laughed. I have to work every hour I can to run the business, whether it is buying ingredients, cooking and preparing food, serving, cleaning, and even keeping the accounts. If I had the time and money, I would hire some employees to help me. So you can easily find out a disadvantage over there, which she's telling. She has to do all of her work herself. Is it? So in disadvantages, we can say she has to do all work by herself. And by work herself, like cleaning, serving, cooking, accounts, all of the things are to be managed by herself. So these are the disadvantages to her, because she has to manage all of the things and give extra hours. Second thing is that she said that I have to work every hour. So she has to give extra time to the business, which was an advantage for the job, but it's a disadvantage for doing the own business, that sometimes you have to give extra time to the business to do all of the stuff. And then if I had the time and money, that means she don't have a time and she don't have a money. So money is going to be, so limited amount of money is going to be your disadvantage. Or you can say it can be a feature of that as well, feature of the sole trader as well. But anyhow, so let us find another one feature which is left. And then she said, starting your own business can be an expensive and risky business. So there is 2 more disadvantages given. It's expensive, it's risky. You have to, so disadvantage can be it's risky. That's mentioned in this. And then Banks wouldn't lend me any money. So financial institutions like banks won't trust you and lend you money. That's the problem. That's a disadvantage. And they said there was too much competition and my business could be at risk. So a competition can be a disadvantage or sometimes so it's a threat. Instead, Sabrina had to use all her savings to buy equipment and pay the deposit on her shop premises. Monthly bills for ingredients, electricity, and my mobile phone are also high, she said. I must earn at least $400 in revenue each month just to break even. I'd love to take a few days off, but I wouldn't make any money. So, one more disadvantage is that no day offs for her till she earns $400 because that's what she needs to break even to meet her own to meet her expenses of the business. Then, of course, if the business fails, I will have to repay any business debts, even if it means selling my possessions to do so. But I plan. So this is another disadvantage, as you can see, it is even the feature of that, so that you have a limited liability. So you could have written a limited liability in the features of that business, that it's a feature that you have to pay from your unlimited liability that you have to pay from your personal belongings sometimes. That's what she's saying. If the business fails, I will have to repay my business debt, even if means selling my possessions to do so. Selling my possessions to do so, that means she may have to sell her own personal belongings as well. But I plan to make the business a success, and so far so good. Bite Size can also provide sandwiches and pastries for business functions and parties. That's the additional thing. So in the article, you were asked to identify the features, advantages, and disadvantage. And that's how we pointed out two features. You could have written two features, any two advantage. I deliberately mentioned two, and I gave 6 disadvantage out of them. You can mention any two of them in the paper, and that's enough. No need to write any extra point. You just write extra point in one case, that once you are confused about your current point. If you feel like you are confused at extra time to a business may not be a disadvantage. That way you give another disadvantage to safeguard yourself in the paper. But if the paper is asking you to give two disadvantage, just mention the two if you're 100% sure. If you're not 100% sure about the second disadvantage, give one more in order to safeguard yourself, so that God forbid if this was wrong, he would have marked for the limited money. Got it? Okay, so if there is any question till this point, you may ask, and we'll move on to the next part. Yes, Ahmed. Okay, similarly, Ahmed, I'm waiting for your question and then I'll move on. Okay, is risk a disadvantage? Yes, a business risk is always a disadvantage. By that means, it is the yes, you can say. Like, what is the alternate of a business? To do a job. If you're not opening a business, you have to do job. And if you're doing job, there is no risk. And risky in terms of, I'm talking about in terms of returns, in terms of revenue, in terms of profits. So risky in terms of profits it is. So whenever you are doing a business, it's always risky, as you may get profit or sometimes you may not. So she says that she has to earn $400 in order to safeguard her expenses. If she's unable to earn $400, what she will do? She has to meet her expenses from where she is going to pay. That means it's a risk. If she's unable to sell or earn profit of $400, she won't be able to pay back her debts and she won't be able to meet her expenses. This is another risk. So always in every type of business, there is a risk involved. And remember, in the business studies, we used to say higher the risk, higher the return. That the higher the riskier, the maximum risk of the business that can be is going to have the maximum profit. And in business, you have to take the risk. There is no business without risk. Okay, so moving on to the next part, which is a bite size, a bigger bite at the bite size. So from the article, let's first read the question and then we'll try to solve the case study given. The question states, from the article, identify and list the main advantages and disadvantages of forming a partnership. So you just asked to give the advantages and disadvantages of partnership, and these are about 4 marks. So that means 2 marks for the advantages, 2 for the disadvantages. And he's saying you to just list. You don't need to explain. Identify or list is the same thing. You don't need to explain. He's not asking you to explain. That means you just have to give 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of forming a partnership. So let us see where advantages and disadvantages are. Okay, so it's the same case study. After some time, today Sabrina Rahman, owner of Bitesize, celebrates over 1 year successful trading with the operating of another bar near the main business district. So what is the secret ingredient in her success? Good, competitively priced food. She explained, our customers like the friendly atmosphere and personalized service. You tell us what sandwich you would like and we can make it. But the banks are not yet convinced. They have been unwilling to lend the business money to expand, suggesting the market is too competitive. Sure it is, Sabrina agreed, but it just means you have to work harder to be best. We have proved the banks wrong, and that's exactly what attracted my new partners to the business. So this is the background. Till this point, she is not giving, or the case study is not giving you any particular thing about the partnership. They are giving you the background in it, and it's ignorable. Then Bashir Chod and Johnny Hicks have joined Sabrina to form the Bite Size partnership. They have invested enough money in the business to open 2 bars and develop a modern facility to prepare some food for the new bars. So what happens? 2 people, Bashir Chod and Johnny Hicks, have joined Sabrina, and what are the advantages they are going to give to the partnership? They have invested enough money in the business to open new bars. So what are the advantages? So now we're talking about the partnership. And in this is the first advantage. So we're talking about the advantages first. So the first advantage is, as said, they have invested enough money in the business. So more investment in the business. So as I mentioned earlier, that if it is a case study mentioned, you have to find out the answer by yourself, because you cannot say any, or you cannot give any disadvantage or disadvantage. That advantage may not have been mentioned in the case study. So you have to read the case study in order to give the answer. So first is invested enough money. And then not only that, they have brought some key skills to the Bite Size to help me manage the business from day to day. So by bringing in key skills, or you can say new skills to the business, that means you are getting more skilled people, more creative ideas. Yes, you're right, Ahmed, that more creative ideas are coming into the business. Okay, next. She said, help me manage the business from day to day. Bashir is qualified chef and John is an accountant. So you have got a qualified chef and you have got an accountant now. She don't need to worry about cooking of the food, and she don't need to worry about being in the accountancy thing now. So these 2 things can be managed by them, and they are professional at that. That's a good thing. I may have to share the profit with my partners. So now comes the disadvantage. I may have to share the profits with my partners. So what is the disadvantage mentioned? The first disadvantage is share profits with partners. Yes, Ahmed. So you have to share profits with the partner, and that's always a disadvantage. No one likes to share their profits or earnings with anyone. And then second is, and then moving on to the next part, we say, but at least I can take some time off at last. So an advantage is going to be she can take time off. No. So that's an advantage for her now. Previously in the sole tradership, she was unable to take the time off. Okay, Sabrina joked. So why did Johnny want to risk putting her savings into bite size? So he's asking about the Johnny, who is basically investing, and why is he risking himself? It is a good business model, she explained. Of course, if it fails, it will lose my investment and have to repay the debts, but we have exciting plans for bite size. So that means you are going to have a successful business and the model is already successful. These plans includes more outlets and food preparation facilities across the country, but raising the money we need for this may take some time. So actually, expansion is the advantage. Business expansion is a good thing. So they are basically going towards a business expansion. But raising money can be a problem for them, but it's not going to be a disadvantage. So moving on to the next, which is we asked Bashir if the new partners foresee any other problems. Only when Sabrina takes that time off, he laughed, and we all disagreed about the layout of the new bar, but we eventually reached a good compromise. So we all disagreed about the layout. So that's the problem. So disagreement about the layout. So a disagreement, as we have already discussed, disagreement is a problem that may arise amongst the partners. So if there are more than two people, there is always a disagreement. So there are many disadvantages which we have gone through related to the partnership. As let me give you an example. So in partnership, we have discussed these advantages and disadvantages earlier. But out of these things, there are just limited number of disadvantages mentioned. One is share profit with the partner. Second is the disagreement amongst the partners. And the advantages are more investment in the business, bringing in the key or new skills for the business. And now she can take some time off as well. And the business is going towards an expansion. So if the examiner is asking you to just give two, so just give any of the two which you like and any two disadvantages. And if you are not very much confident about any of the advantage or disadvantage, you can mention additional third one in order to safeguard yourself while attempting the question. Okay, so moving on to the next part. So this is all about advantages and disadvantages of the business. So today we have discussed about the main definitions, which can be the part of, which is normally the part A question in paper 1 of 2 marks, while he asks you about defining the terms, and I have used nearly all of the terms which could have been used in this chapter. And then we have discussed how to answer the case study. So the case study will be normally given in the paper 2, but there is a short case scenario, the background scenario that is given in paper 1 normally. So definition questions and identification explanation question are normally the paper 1 questions, but sometimes there is a 8 marks question which he asks you about just identify and explain two advantages and disadvantages of a sole trader. That will have a 8 marks, two advantages and two disadvantages. So the question could have been in paper 2, and this is one of the past papers question, that identify and explain two advantages of to Mr. ABC. There can be other chain, Mr. ABC, of having a partnership instead of sole trader, instead of being a sole trader. So the question could have been like this: that identify and explain two advantages and disadvantages. Now you have to ask yourself that how the answers are going to be divided. So this is 8 mark question. 8 mark questions means identify and explain advantage. So first part is going to be advantage and second part is going to be disadvantages. So advantages are carrying 4 marks in total and disadvantages carries 4 marks in total. So how would you divide these marks? He said identify and explain. So 2 for the identification want and explain those 2 points as well. Let me give you just one example. Till this point, and now comes the explanation part. You have to explain more investment. Quality. Doing an innovation in production, innovation or upgradation of machinery always requires enhanced as well as the performance stuff in lesser time as well. Efficiency and then you can explain another point like bringing in new skills. So you said bringing Sabrina won't have to manage these two things, and why, and these two skills are two identification, and by this way you are going to have full 4 marks already discussed. Like this is the paper 1 style, just identification, and the paper so that's all from my side. If there is any question you want to ask, you can.